What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a Detroit Lions draft prospect. And today, we're talking about tight end Kyle Pitts out of Florida. So let's get it started.
You know, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
Welcome everybody to the video. Glad you guys are here. And we have 9 days until the NFL draft for the Detroit Lions. Well, for every NFL team. And I am super pumped. I'm super pumped for that. 6 draft picks for the Detroit Lions as of now. We have the 7th pick in the first round. And because there's only 9 days until the draft, we really got to get this draft stuff pumping out there. So for the next couple of days, we're probably going to be throwing in these first round prospects that the Detroit Lions could potentially take. Now, we've looked at a lot of them, but not all of them. And we want to be prepared for maybe some surprises that could come out there. I mean, I think Kyle Pitts might check as a surprise. I mean, I think I'd be a little surprised if the Lions went Kyle Pitts. First off, if he fell to number 7, but then if the Lions went that direction. But there's also other guys out there. I mean, you have cornerbacks, multiple corners. I mean, you have multiple cornerbacks that you could talk about depending on how far you traded back to the first round. You could throw safety into the mix with Merrick. You also could be looking at a guy like Christian Darrisaw. We talked about Slater and Sewell, but what about Darrisaw? There's a lot of options out there for the Lions. So we have to continue to do these videos and just kind of touch on as many prospects as we can for the first round. And also, we're going to continue to be putting some information on DoseOfDion.com. So if you guys want to check it out, make sure you go check it out. Also, my YouTube videos over there, and so is my Twitter, but I don't really use Twitter unless it's like for funny, like, you know, those pictures that move, the GIFs. And that's just for those. But if you guys want to see those, you can check it out. All right, so today we're talking about some Kyle Pitts. But before we get into the video, we do have a couple of comment questions of the day. Or not even questions, comments of the day, I should say. Ooh, stop. First one comes from my man, Living Tree. Living Tree, as you can see, says that I look like Patrick Mahomes. Okay, Living Tree, I see you. Hey, not the first time I heard it. I don't really have the Mahomes cut right now. You know, we got kind of the no cut going on right now. But I should be getting a haircut this week. So that's good. Maybe we'll start to look like Mahomes even more. But I appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, you can be compared to a lot of worse things. So I will take Patrick Mahomes every day of the week. Thank you. And then this next one comes from my man, One Pride Nation, that says, you know, on my knees video, that they could sign DoseOfDion to play linebacker. Now, hey, look, I already got my helmet, coach. DC, where we at? You know, this one doesn't count. I mean, it's got like all the regulation padding and stuff. I feel like it's got the face mask. Just needs a chin strap, and it even has the buttons for those. So, I mean, I don't know. It might be a little. The logo's a little outdated. Do I look like a rock star? I would take a pay cut too. I mean, that's the crazy thing. I don't know if I'd actually want to go on the field, though. I don't know if I'd... So today we're going to be talking about some Kyle Pitts in this video. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. You guys always know this does tend to go a little overboard. So let's just dive right into it, okay? Kyle Pitts is a 6'6", 245-pound tight end out of Florida. Now, I know what you're thinking. Tight end? Oh, my goodness. Tight end again, man? No. Hold up. Kyle Pitts is a little bit different than your prototypical tight end. I know we have TJ Hockenson, which could definitely make this pick less likely. But Kyle Pitts can do a lot of things on the field. And like I said, he's not your normal tight end. If you picture a tight end in your head, you're probably not picturing a guy like Kyle Pitts because he is much different. They basically call him a unicorn because he can do so many different things. He's magical. I don't know actually why they call him a unicorn. I don't know what that phrase means. Is that just because he's different? Oh, because he's different. Okay. Hey, because he's pink? No, that don't make any sense. All right. His numbers were really good last season. Last season, he actually broke out on 65 targets. He had 43 receptions. When you look at his passes between 1 and 9 yards, the short passes, he was 18 for 25 for 5 touchdowns in that area. That's obviously great. 10 to 19 yards, he was 13 for 21 for a touchdown, and 20 plus yards, 10 of 17 with 5 touchdowns, and he had 11 total contested catches with listed as 0 drops. Now, I saw a couple of, I guess you could consider it drops, tough passes maybe, but I could consider those drops. Regardless, though, he does have really good hands, and last year was phenomenal in terms of pass catching. Blocking, it was better. It wasn't great, but it was better. But you're not drafting Kyle Pitts to block. You're drafting Kyle Pitts to be what Kyle Pitts is, and that is a tight end that can line up like a slot or a wide receiver, and as people would like to say, be a matchup nightmare for defenses. So today we're going to show some clips on that. I'm going to go through his pros and cons here. All right, everybody, so we're going to be taking a look at some film now of Kyle Pitts. I thought I would actually show you some Kyle Pitts instead of just talking about him. So that's what we're going to do in this video. I'm going to show you some different games, show you what I like, what I don't like, kind of break some things down here with Kyle Pitts. But Kyle Pitts at Florida was known as a matchup nightmare. And I think it's very fair to say that about Kyle Pitts, at least at the college level. NFL is a different animal, so we'll see how he translates. But definitely in college, yes, he was a matchup nightmare. 6'6", 245, and he moves like a receiver. That's very difficult for defenses. And I think what he showed last season that makes him a matchup nightmare is that there was no team in 2020 that could take him out of the game plan. There was no team that could take him out from having a big impact on the game. No one was able to do that. His worst game was still a good game. I think technically this was his worst game by grades, but yet he was still successful in this game. Last season with Florida, yes, he was a matchup nightmare because he can line inline, slot, and wide receiver, and he can play at a high level at all those spots. He can move. He's got good size. He's got strength for, defensive backs, and he doesn't drop the football. I mean, it's like the great combination. So yes, he was a matchup nightmare. Is he the fastest? No. Is he the best at everything? No. But in terms of all around, he's one of the most complete prospects as a receiving prospect in this class. No question about it because of what he can bring to the table. So the first thing I want to show you guys here is the beginning of your route, of course, and this is the release. So here is Florida against Missouri, and right here he's going against Jarvis Ware, a 6'1", 190-pound cornerback out of Missouri. Now that's not terrible size for a cornerback. It's actually pretty good height. Kind of small though, but when you compare that to a guy that's 6'6", 245, now that's a mismatch. Now that's an issue. Now, based on what I've noticed, it's not that close. Most of the snaps for Kyle Pitts came in line as at the tight end position, in here by the offensive line. Not out wide, not in slot. I actually think the second most was wide, third most was slot. But most of his snaps came in line. But that doesn't mean he can't play on the outside or play in a slot more, because he actually can. He can in a high level. We're going to take a look at some clips today. But that's what makes him a matchup nightmare is, depending on who you're going against, if they can't stop him at tight end, you just leave him there. If they can't stop him out wide, you put him out there. If they can't stop him at slot, you can put him there. You can just move things around, which makes it difficult because the defense just has to keep adjusting and trying to find some way to slow him down. Whether that's throwing double teams, which open up other guys, throwing zones at him, whatever that may be, it's tough to slow down Kyle Pitts. So this first one here against Missouri, like we said, 6'1", 190. Not bad size, but clearly outsized here. So we're taking a look at the release. Now, with Kyle Pitts, the issue for defenders, and we're specifically talking about defensive backs when he's lined out as slot or wide, is that it's really tough for them to slow him down off the release because you can't go up and be physical with him, because if you're physical with him at the release, he's going to go by you. And the reason being is because you're not really going to be able to slow him down. You can't chuck him off the release. You can't throw him off this route because he's just too big and he's too strong for that. And he also has some nice moves to get off the release. And then at that point, you're behind, you're in a trailing position. Not the fast receiver. If you're very fast, you could risk it, but he can definitely move. And once he gets rolling, it is tough to keep up with him and tough to catch up with him. So most corners aren't super physical. They'll play tight, but they're not super physical with him at the snap. Instead, they just try to stay right in his hip pocket. But the issue is, not only is he big and strong, he also is quick off the line of scrimmage. He has a really nice burst, and he sets things up extremely well. Okay, so this first one against Missouri, let's take a look at it. Bottom of the screen here, and you're going to see he sets up the quarterback really well right here. Boom. Okay, now he's going to plant that right foot, and he gets the cornerback shifting that direction, and then instantly hits him inside with a slant here. And you're going to see how much separation he's able to create. Cornerback's not even being physical with him. They haven't touched each other once. And right there, he tries to grab him. You can see because he's already lost. He's already behind him. He's trying to grab and slow him down at this point. That's a 6'6", 245-pound tight end that just got that kind of separation just like that off the release. And now the way he finishes the play is, number one, he's not afraid to go over the middle. Number two, he doesn't drop any passes. And number three, he has such a wide catch radius that all you have to do is really just throw it away from the defender, and he can probably make a grab on the ball here. This one's a little bit behind, but he's still able to make the catch. Good use of hands, and he's got a nice little gain there against Missouri. I'm going to show you one more example here. We have Alabama. This is Patrick Surtain. This is arguably the top cornerback in this class. Another press here. Again, not super physical with him. He just sets him up really well. Outside, then inside. Quick slant, and you can see the separation that he creates. Surtain's completely behind, and now you can see the space between the two. It's actually a solid pass because he threw it away from the defender. Throws it away from the defender where he can't get it, only where Kyle Pitts can, because Surtain is long. And there's more examples if you watch Alabama's game where if you put it where Surtain can reach it, that's a problem. Surtain is a long corner, so he's able to recover and shoot down on these things, but he throws it away from him, and only Pitts can catch this football, and that's a nice gain. And like I said, that's a top cornerback in this class going against the tight end on the outside. So pretty impressive stuff there. The next thing we have here, and this is against Nicholson. This is Nicholson, number 11 for Missouri. He is 6'3", 230-pound linebacker. Now, one thing with Kyle Pitts in his game is that he's fast, but he's not a burner. He's not a guy that's going to stack you, especially against defensive backs. Guys that can move, he's not gapping defenders on the outside. However, if he can get just a step, any kind of separation, you have a problem because he has such a wide catch radius that, like I said, you just got to get it away from the defender, and he's going to come down with the ball more times than not. So that's the issue. Even he can make it a problem for defenses. But this is one of those situations where he's coming up. He's going to try to play physical up the line of scrimmage here with Kyle Pitts. He's got some good size. He's going to try to slow him down a little bit here. As you can see, it doesn't work well. He just kind of runs through that. Pitts runs right through the arm. You know, you put your arm out, he's going to run right through it. And he runs right by. Now, the linebacker's got to flip and run. And he does a pretty solid job of staying in his pocket, but you can see, first off, great pass by Trask, putting it away from the defender, and makes a really good grab there. But if you lead him, I mean, the linebacker can't reach that because he's got such a long wingspan that you just got to keep it away. So being even with a cornerback is still a problem, you know, for defensive backs because he is so long. Here's another example. I like this one because you could just see his frustration right there. He's mad because he wanted this linebacker to slide over and cover Kyle Pitts in this situation. This is, who is this? This is Jay Stanley, 6'2", 220-pound cornerback out of Ole Miss. That's a good size. That's like one of your bigger cornerbacks you'll find at the next level. Not saying he's a top corner, but it's one of the bigger ones. And he tries to play physical here. He wants the linebacker because he knows, hey, I'd rather take this receiver than try to take this 6'6", 245-pound guy. So he tries to play physical. And you can see it here. Grabs, sticks his arms out, grabs. This could easily be a flag, but, you know, you could say it's within 5 yards. Regardless, it should still be a flag holding something. But he just plays right through the contact. And now that you've grabbed and you try to slow him down, you're no longer moving your feet at that point. You're just hanging on. So once he runs through the arm, now you're behind. And again, just throw it away from the defender. Now it's a catch point thing where he can't catch the ball. You're in a trailing position, and you got an issue for the defensive back, and he's going by him. So, yes, he's a problem on the outside. Statistically, on 24 targets, he caught 17 of the passes when lined out wide for 250 yards. That includes that grab against Retain and one against J.C. Horn for a 20-yard touchdown. So, yeah, the guy can definitely play at different spots. Here's an example at slot. Didn't play at slot a ton. I could see it more at the next level. This one's pretty easy here. Just, you know, very soft coverage, giving him a lot of cushion here. Unless you trust yourself to go up and press and run with him. The issue is when you play this far back, you play this off the coverage, if he's going deep and you don't, you know, you have flat feet, he's going to run right by you. We'll see some examples of that. But this one, he plays very soft. He's very worried about him going by. Of course, here, must not be super confident about his, you know, deep speed. And that just allows him to play, you know, a soft out route and get a nice little gain there. So out of the slot, of course, you know he is impactful, and I just want to show you an example of that. Now, here's the thing about Kyle Pitts. As awesome and fun as he is to watch, and as talented he is, and as big as he is, he doesn't get tons of separation against all outside defense backs. He doesn't. It's simple as that. He's not going to gap guys. A lot of times they're going to stick in his hips. Good corners can stick in his hips on go routes, deep ball routes, vertical routes. Now, once he starts mixing these quick hitters, out routes, things like that, you know, situation can change. We'll take a look at some more clips there. But in this situation, these guys can keep with him stride for stride going towards the end zone. But this is where physically you can't teach what he can do. All right, good release. Again, he tries to play physical. Swim move just runs right through that. Like, dude, you're not slowing me down. What are you trying to do? But even that, he's not able to get space. You can see he's right in his hip pocket. This is great positioning. He's not open. He's not open. And then you're going to get safety help over top. This is not open. Yet he throws the football. This is the thing, though, with Pitts. Because he's so big, because he has such long arms, and his catch radius is just gigantic, all you have to do is throw it where the defender can't get it. Watch him track the football, work down to the corner of the end zone, the pylon there, and make a tough grab. Defenders want a PI, but no. I mean, you just got to get it away from the defenders, and he's got a shot to catch it. It really reminds me of Calvin in that way. He's not Calvin. He's not as fast as Calvin, but he reminds me of Calvin like that, and he's also bigger than Calvin as well. Here we go. This is just awful coverage, by the way. This safety shoots down. There must be some sort of miscommunication. I don't think this is how the play's supposed to go. This safety jumps down here, and you got a linebacker on Kyle Pitts. Doesn't make any sense. The linebacker doesn't even look ready that he was going to go right by him. But this is just straight up speed. So here's why he's a mismatch. Because on the outside, he's too big for corners. You put it up there, you put jump ball situations, he's too big and he's too physical for corners on the outside. You put him on in line against in line as a tight end. Linebackers are too slow to keep up with him. Safeties are too small. That's the issue. Here's the linebacker. Now, the linebacker's waiting on this. I think he thought there might have been safety out behind or something. But you can see he's sort of flat-footed here. And if you're flat-footed against a guy that's got 5 yards to build up speed that ran a 4.4440, it's game over. Honestly, an underthrow probably should have been a much easier touchdown here, but he still shows that strength to run through the tackle, weak tackle, and he scores the touchdown there. So, yeah, not good coverage, but regardless, it's just showing how devastating he could be. Here's another example against Ole Miss, which is the game that people like to say was the matchup nightmare game. Here he is in line once again. This time, Ole Miss says, okay, linebacker didn't work. Let's throw a safety against you. This is why he's a problem, because they throw so many things at him and nothing works. You threw cornerback, you threw linebacker, let's try safety. Okay, cool. So they're going to keep a safety here. Now the safety, he's got better hips, he flips way better, he's more fluid with this, and he runs with him. Gets right in his pocket. Great. Safety comes over to help. Now it's a double team. That means everybody else is one-on-one. Everybody else has a better chance to catch the ball. Kyle Trask doesn't care, though. He just throws it to the end zone. Doesn't care. But this is, kind of similar to Calvin in the way of you just throw it up. And if you keep it away from the defenders and say they can't catch it, Kyle Pitts has got a shot at it. And he doesn't have a huge vertical, but he tracks the ball so well when it's a jump ball situation and he plays through the contact. And that's just get off of me. I mean, I'm just playing with little kids out here. That's what that is. They too little. That's what that is. That's what he's saying after he made that grab. I think he rocked the baby on Kentucky. Here's another example. Same thing. Again, from the tight end position. This one is against Georgia. They're going to put a cornerback on him this time, I think. Yeah, they're going to put a corner on. They're going to try to keep some speed here. They want speed to keep up with Kyle Pitts because the linebacker they know is too slow. So he's going to run a deep wheel route. Corner, okay, he flips, he runs with him easy, right? He's in his pocket. This is beautiful coverage. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better. Now you just got to be able to play on the ball. Kyle Trask knows, though, hey, my guy's got a half a foot on him. I just got to put it up for grabs. And, yeah, that happened. He didn't push off. He just jumped up and took it out of the air. That's all he did. And, yeah, I mean, that's why he's such a match nightmare. Here's another example. Top of the screen. Same thing here. One-on-one. Release. You're not going to slow him down there. But even then, no separation. I mean, he is locked. There is no separation on this play. Sorry for the, poor quality. But no separation. Regardless, the ball goes up, and he just takes it out of the air. Good passes, by the way, for Kyle Trask. Those were very accurate. But if you just learn to put it away from defenders, it's a problem. That's where it's tough because cornerbacks, they might be able to keep up with him, speed-wise, but size-wise, you can't really match him in terms of jump balls. It's very difficult as long as you give him a chance. And since he plays through contact, it's really tough. Now, some guys did do better slowing him down, like Alabama, things like that. But since he lines up in different spots, he's never truly going against this is Kyle Pitts versus Patrick Surtain. It's Kyle Pitts versus the Bama defense because he'll just move around. And if he's in a spot where, they're slowing me down, okay, we'll put you at tight end. Then they got to figure out how to match up with that. So if he's even being slowed, that's why you can't take him out of the game plan. Receiver may struggle in a game and they can't get going. He's a receiver. It is what it is. However, you got a tight end like this, you could just say, well, let's just line him back at tight end, see if he can do that. And he's going to be dominant. You're going to find a place. This quality came out really bad, very bad here. But I did want to show you another example. He's at the bottom of the screen. He's working out here. And you can see, that double move is crisp. I think he's very good with his double moves. He runs a lot of vertical routes. And you'll notice how well he sells. He's, again, flat-footed. So when you're flat-footed and you're waiting for someone to come at you that's full speed, you're really biting on the first thing that you see. Because you're expecting, he's going outside. I got to get on that. Because if I don't send my whole body weight there, he's blowing by me. So you send everything that one direction because you're waiting on him because he's lined up in line. He's lined up at tight end spot. So there's no one matched up directly with him until he's 7 yards downfield. So he's building up all this speed. You're waiting. And as soon as he makes that first cut, you're like, I got to go that direction. Now you're completely out of balance and he goes back. Good recovery speed because, like I said, he's not a burner. He's not going to blow by and it's gone. You can recover, but it's just enough space where I'm going to go take it out of the air. And what are you going to do about it? And then, of course, he has that top-end speed, which is obviously very impressive for his size to finish off that play. So, obviously, Kyle Pitts is a very big problem here. It's Alabama, this is number 14, kind of like a linebacker safety for them, kind of like a nickel set, I guess you could say. Over the middle, you can see he reaches out, just grabs, jumping on that first route. And I think this is kind of a similar situation, maybe. Probably just not the best at, working with this. Got himself in a really bad position defensively. But you just throw it away from the defender, throw it a little high, and he'll take the hit. I think he'll take some smacks, but he'll get back up. He did have a concussion, however, though, in 2020. So that is something to definitely be aware of. Now, this next play, I know he doesn't catch the football, but I think it's something I want to show you against Bama here. Because I think this is a game changer. You line him up at slot, right? So what Bama basically did is say, okay, we're going to slide our linebacker, but we know he may not be able to keep up with you deep speed-wise. So we're going to slide a safety over top, and you're going to basically double-team him. Okay, that's cool, but what that does is, as you can see, Florida, they have a drag underneath, and they have a one-on-one down here. Patrick Surtain can hold his own, so they're lucky in that situation. But for a lot of teams, you're talking about Lions that are going to have Tyrell Williams, Rashad Perriman, Damian Ratley, Khalif Raymond, these speedsters. You're one-on-one in a drag, that's a problem because you have no linebacker to help because you sent him out to go take Kyle Pitts early. You have one-on-one at the bottom, that could be a problem because we have guys that can gap. So he could be the perfect, almost, even if he's not catching the football, the perfect distraction where it's like, hey, we got Pitts, you're going to have to focus attention there. If you don't find, we'll beat you with him. And if you do, we got one-on-ones elsewhere, and our guys are too fast. So we'll run our drags, our crossers, and he's got to catch it and run. And that's the kind of situation that the Lions could be in if they had a guy like Kyle Pitts. That's what he could really bring to the table with a guy like Kyle Pitts. Now, this is a receiver, but maybe this is certain ways the Lions can line him up. Maybe they could, stack on the same side, tight ends. They could do that, two tight ends on the same side. I've seen the Rams do that, so I just want to show that clip here. He just kind of leaks out. But the Rams have done that, put two on the same side. I can see Hockenson and Kyle Pitts playing on the same side. Now, for me, Kyle Pitts, I don't like him as a pass blocker. I did have a pass blocking clip, but I forgot to put it in here. But I don't like him as a pass blocker that much. Statistically, he hasn't been bad, but he usually requires help from a running back. So I don't love him there. But if you had him and Hockenson on the same side, even if they both go out, it's your normal offensive front, or one can stay back to try to help block. Regardless, though, that's the kind of problem that you could have when you're talking about lining up from the tight end position if you had Kyle Pitts and TJ Hockenson, and we've seen the Rams do that. Or sometimes, they'll, of course, put one on each side. One on each side of the field. They can cross, they can work across each other. They can do a lot of different things and just find a way to get some space. That's really what it's about. Here he is in line again. He's on the left side here, this tight end position. And we're just going to see him attack over the middle, but this is playing against zone. So a lot of defenses would throw a zone against Florida because they have a lot of good weapons, but a guy like Kyle Pitts is very tough to man with. So you throw zone because obviously, he's just passing off in zone. And this is fine. The issue is he's so big and he moves so well to open up himself for their quarterback, is that if you don't have big linebackers that can clog these lanes, it's easy for the quarterback to see where he's at all times. 6'6" is a giant target. That's why they say they're quarterback's best friend. And a guy that moves like this is definitely a quarterback's best friend because he can see Kyle Pitts everywhere. He's taller than everybody else. So he just works outside and there's Pitts. And he pops open, you throw it to him in a zone. He breaks that zone open for Florida there. Tight end position on the right side this time. Come off a little bit late that time. Just kind of runs by. You can see he's got the hands and the hips here. But then he works his way back, second effort, stays alive on the play. And, of course, like I said, he'd go down and make the play on the ball. Now, things that I don't necessarily love, this is one thing I do notice. This is just one clip, but I have noticed this a few times. He does tend to get lethargic or lazy with some of his cuts. Easy routes, especially if he doesn't expect to get the ball. He kind of rounds things and doesn't get much separation there. He needs to be crisp. He needs to be tight consistently. Too many times he tries to round out routes and be kind of like, I'm not going to get the ball anyways, and then nothing happens there. And this is also a spot, like I said, he won't get separation one-on-one against defensive back on a vertical route. Unless it's early a quick hitter, he's not getting separation. So this is one of those examples where he's going to hit him with a nice double move, boom, but the cornerback's able to just stay right with him in the hip. And these are the situations where at this point now it's just a jump ball. And while you can win jump ball situations, jump ball is a jump ball for a reason. It's not always that you're going to win it. So they get a safety over there. It's not a great throw. They didn't give him a great chance to go catch that. Probably would have been better throwing it to the sideline. But then it becomes a jump ball situation. So when you line him out wide, he's very tough off the release. He can be a jump ball threat. However, he's not going to be dominant all the time outside as a normal receiver would. If I line Jamar up outside every snap and Kyle Pitts outside every snap, I'd probably have more confidence that Jamar could consistently give me more production out there because I know that he can get separation at a higher level than Kyle Pitts can. Pitts plays with strength. He can win off quick releases. That's fine because he's good at it, but consistently, you can't keep lining him up at wide receiver, and that's the only spot I line him. That's why you have to be willing to say, hey, if we draft him, we got to be able to play him in line. We got to be able to move him in the slot. We got to be able to move him based on matchups and just keep the defense guessing. Because if you say you're only a wide receiver, he's not going to be as impactful. He'd still be good, but not as impactful as you would necessarily hope. Guy draws a lot of flags. I mean, this is a cornerback, but physically he just knows that he can't keep up. And again, good break here. He doesn't use the footwork. Instead, he just goes right to the grab. And he hangs on him the whole way. And, of course, that's going to draw pass interference. Drew a lot of flags last season because cornerbacks were too small, so they grabbed when the ball went up in the air. And, a lot of times he had good releases that even secondary players like that would grab out of releases. As a blocker, first off, run blocker, I like this one. He showed a lot of good energy on this one. As a run, but he's going against defensive back. As a blocker, you like his ability to block second level, third level because he has the athleticism to go pick up guys there. That's where he's promising. Defensive ends, defensive line, edge rushers, he's not a person mover. Even second level guys, he's not moving anybody, but he can kind of, give you that first hit and maybe, hold on to him for a second. But staying connected, he's not great at that either. Here's an example, right? He gives you the first chuck, but he's not moving anybody, right? They break right off, and ultimately he's going to go make a play on the football. Here's one, though. This is the kind of way you could use him. You pull him inside. He's able to get that first hit on Dylan Moses. Yeah, is he able to stay connected? Not really, but it's just enough because of the athleticism to get to the second level and make that block. And then finally, Here he is working from the left side on this, wildcat formation, and he blocks to the second level. Again, not going to stay connected with him extremely well, but he can do that. Sometimes he does lack some aggressiveness as a blocker. You see him kind of just walking around. He doesn't really know where to go, doesn't know where to be. Instead of just finding somebody and hitting them, he is kind of just like, lackadaisical. But overall, as a player, if you're drafting Kyle Pitts, you have to understand we got to be able to use this guy in different spots. We have to be willing to say we could line him here, here, here. If you're going to be willing to line him in different spots, if you're willing to line some 2 tight end sets, he could be very worth a draft pick because I think he's definitely a different piece than what the Lions have right now. And it'd be interesting to see a guy like Goff work with somebody like that because he really hasn't had that before. However, if you're saying we're drafting him to be strictly a wide receiver, just wide, and I don't think the Lions would do that. I've seen a guy in Anthony Lynn that has been willing to adjust and play to his strengths. And also Dan Campbell told us that, it's going to be about mismatches. If we can do this 50 times a game, we'll do it. So that's what makes you believe that Kyle Pitts could fit. The Rams have used 2 tight ends. They have had over 400 yards between 2 tight ends in the past. But when you're drafting Kyle Pitts, you're looking for more than 400, right? You're looking for, Kyle Pitts and TJ Hockenson to take this thing over. But the Lions do have Hunter Bryant, right? So you have to keep that in mind. We do have Hunter Bryant still in the roster, and he's not Kyle Pitts, but he could definitely be a weapon in a similar way, just a little bit smaller, maybe more of a receiver next year. So Kyle Pitts, is he my favorite prospect? No, but he's definitely talented, and it's fair to say he's a matchup nightmare. I'm just excited for the draft. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. How do you guys feel about Kyle Pitts? Thank you, Pride, for watching, and I'm out.